Hi, Tony.
Hi,
Can you
Rob.
hear me?
We sure can.
Excellent. Tony and Kendra, thank you so much for having me. And welcome, graduates. It's an honor to be here to celebrate this milestone with you. You're now on your way to coaching on the Coach.me platform, and congratulations on this achievement. So I'll give a little round of applause here. As you move forward in this coaching journey, I want to share some lessons that I've learned from coaching here. Over the few years, it's probably over 100 lessons, but I tried to consolidate down, and I thought about 7. I thought that I wanted to share here today, and I feel like some of these could be very specific to the Coach.me platform as well. So it may not just be just for productivity coaching specifically where I'm positioned, but it really could just be from working with clients, both just in the digital medium as well. One thing I started to notice right away, my first lesson was that what was second nature to me, or what felt like it was second nature, or maybe overly simplistic, could really be life-changing advice for someone else. Initially, I would hold certain things back. For example, the idea of recommending to clients maybe that they should be focusing on sleep, or maybe looking at their calendar for the next day to plan ahead and be proactive. Sometimes I would think about what a client had done before they started to hire a coach. They probably had been working on building habits themselves. Then they realized that they needed some more support. Then they found the Coach.me platform. They found a coach. They went through all these other steps to get here. So I was always hesitant to provide simple information first, but I ended up retreating on that and backtracking with my approach over time, because I realized that simple advice is not easy to implement often. And a lot of times the simple advice really is the best place to start. So instead of jumping from my experience, instead of jumping into apps and productivity systems or things that might be a little bit further or deeper down in the suggestion box, starting with the simple advice first can actually be very significant for a client. And it's not that they've never heard this before, but it's that they're working together with you on something that is simple, again, simple but not easy. So start simple and don't hesitate to give out that type of what feels like it might be obvious advice. That's something that I've really started to learn to do more and more. Lesson number 2, and again, I think this one is more specific to working in the digital coaching platform. Say hello and set expectations quickly. I've seen, many clients have not hired a coach before, never had a coaching experience before. And one of the great things about websites that offer coaching is that it offers coaching for everyone. So with that said, expectations can be wildly different for clients. And there also may be some hesitancy when they first sign up. So I found that sometimes the speed of response for that very first touch point, when they signed up, they put in their credit card information, they chose you as their coach. Then they're just kind of waiting. Some people may be hitting refresh on their browser, waiting to see like, oh, did they respond yet? They haven't responded. Did I make the right choice? And so whenever possible, I try to be able to respond, to at least say hello, even if I'm not physically at my desk and I'm able to respond with like a full length, review of what they've shared. I want to at least say hello, and that I'm looking forward to discussing further with them, later on that day. Some kind of message to at least put them at ease. And I feel like that, plus setting any expectations as soon as possible with what your style of coaching is. If you can provide that up front, that can also really help determine whether you have a good match with someone up front. So one last item related to that, if you have any chances to be able to get a little bit of FaceTime with that person, even if it's over like a quick free call, just to say hello, I feel like that can also be a really good accelerator to really deepen the relationship with the client and determine whether or not you have a good fit right up front. Lesson number 3, you don't have to be perfect to be the perfect coach. And the reason why I bring this up is because I feel like as coaches, and this is definitely something I've kind of wrestled with before, there's this pressure to feel like we have to have everything together. We have to, especially in the area where we are coaching, we're being positioned as an expert. And there is a pressure to feel like you have to have everything figured out. You have to have all the answers. And that when it comes to your own life, you have to demonstrate that, again, everything is perfect in this area because I'm an expert, and that's why you've hired me. But I've actually found that it can be relieving, I think, both for the client and for the coach to be transparent about around struggles that you're having as well, even if it's in the same area that where you're working on. It actually helps you work and almost like be in the trenches with your client to basically to share and swap challenges, and but then also share solutions. And just by I feel like by opening up about what your life is really like and what you're really struggling with as well, and maybe even sharing, like, for example, a weekly review of all of uh, the positive things and then all the challenges and the next steps you want to approach. That I think that puts clients at ease too, because it's not just them who are struggling. They realize that it's kind of a universal struggle. We're all working to build up these habits together, and they're not easy. And I think sometimes that also helps build a greater bond between you and your clients. Uh, so again, don't feel pressured that you have to be perfect in order to be a great coach. And one last thing related to this too, I also find that sometimes just being a coach for others can really build your own accountability in these habits, because just because you don't have to be perfect, you still have to be trying really hard and you still have to be giving it a lot of attention. So I feel like there is a reciprocal amount of accountability where just being accountable for others in turn will also make you be a lot more accountable for yourself. Lesson number four is be patient when clients become passive. There are times in this digital coaching platform where clients can kind of go dark or stop responding for a while. And one thing I want to express here is that it's probably not. I would say it's not your fault. There is almost I don't know. I see it happen quite a bit. However, it's only for certain periods. So in other words, they may sign up, feel like they achieved something there, and then forget about it for a little bit. But then a couple of weeks later, they may come back and say, thank you so much. I've read everything you've shared. I'm ready to start now. I've had some clients that have deleted the app off their phone accidentally or got a new phone, and there was a technical limitation that prevented them from responding. So if you do have some periods of inactivity with the client, don't stress about it. It's not your fault. Make sure that you still send something. Send something to say hello. Maybe you can share an article or two about something they may find interesting. Still try to provide value, because even if somebody was disconnected for a time, if they see that you've been reaching out, they'll be even more excited to work with you when they're ready. And I have had some people that have come back over more than a few months to say, I read everything you've sent, Rob, and I couldn't appreciate it more, and I'm ready to get started. And it really surprised me. I kind of thought that I had lost them, but they actually did come back. So keep that in mind, and don't beat yourself up if they kind of go into that passive mode. Number five, uh, you may find that a lot of clients who sign up to work with you have already read all the material. They've already done all the education. They've done all the analysis. They're tracking everything. They're doing everything right. And I've seen many situations, clients that are more skilled in a lot of the things that I'm working on than I am, and they're just absolutely doing a fantastic job. Like, and they're inspiring me. It's just fantastic to see it. However, they feel like they're failing, and that's why they hired a coach. And what I kind of break this down in, I see two different areas here related to the success and whether or not somebody sticks with a habit. It has to do with their performance as far as what actions they're actually taking, but then it also has to do with their own expectations. So in many instances, I'm finding the performance seems to be good. They're on a really good trend. They're learning more. They're tracking everything, and they basically built a habit. However, their expectations were to be perfect, or they were basically constraining themselves so much with the parameters of success that they were almost set up for failure, and so they were feeling bad about it. So I find myself as a coach uh, sometimes working with some people on the performance, but sometimes it's actually very common to be working more on the expectations, on allowing a little bit more flexibility and really demonstrating to somebody that they are on the right path. Sometimes these individuals are kind of in a silo and they're working on these habits in a very private way, so they don't realize that what they're attempting to do may not be very practical for a normal life. So helping refine the expectations may be more of your job as the coach, instead of just encouraging people to actually take action. Also, a little bit of a turn for the negative here. We can support people all as much as we can, but we can't take responsibility and we can't take action for our clients. Occasionally there will be some clients who will either project a little bit of blame on coach because they're not doing it, but we're doing the best that we can to support and provide direction and provide next steps and cheer them on, but we still just don't see the next steps happening, no matter how small we try to break down those, the next steps for guidance. And so I think it's very hard, especially at the beginning as a coach. You start to take responsibility for it, start to feel a little bit bad about it, but we can't take it personal. We can only take it so far. And I've definitely gone as far as to say, well, I can't do this for you, as a leading a leading intro to a message, because we have to allow our clients to take responsibility for their own actions at the end of the day. So what I care about here is that coaches don't beat themselves up in those instances, but they do. I would actually treat it more like a hard mode or a challenge mode in this example, to say, what can I do? Maybe there's something a little bit more creative that I can do to go off of my typical path of coaching to help ignite something in that client, to help get them more motivated. And it could be a way for you to expand your own skill set and your own repertoire of approaches that you could take with clients when you're faced with somebody who's just not responding. And my last step here, my last lesson learned, number 7, always leave with accessible next steps. If you think about the journey for clients, these clients are, they've often tried and worked their way through building up their own habits themselves independently. Then they realized, it wasn't working, or they were having some challenges. Then again, they did the research, they found the website, they found the coach, and now they're basically continuing to try. So it's not that they've never worked through this before. So I think one key difference that coaches can really provide are accessible next steps. People may have this idea of wanting to become more fit, and so they think about the gym, and they have a perspective of what they want to do when in order to be fit, I have to go to the gym and I have to work out for 90 minutes. But they may not think about the idea of making things more accessible, meaning, if there's a really bad snowstorm, you can't go to the gym. Why can't you work out in your home, with just a few things, right in your bedroom? Why can't you do something with body weight exercises? There's a lot of things. Sometimes people need to get reframed away from those initial expectations that led them to needing a coach, and they need something more accessible. And we want to be able to build recommendations that allow them to get more wins and build momentum. And that momentum, I think, will be what really makes things different for a client compared to when they were working independently. So work your way to always allowing next steps from any conversation you have. Always give the client a plan of action. It could be very short, like send me a message later today when you walk out to the gym, or send me a photo using the coach.me file feature, of your mailbox. I've seen pictures of mailboxes at 5 a.m. when people go for a run. You can use this platform to make it fun for clients, and they think of it like a game too. So these are definitely the advantages of being able to coach on a platform like this. And if you can really zero in on some foundational habits or keystone habits, such as getting up earlier to allow other things to happen, you can really start a snowball effect of positivity for the client. So hopefully these lessons were helpful for you and spark some ideas on your end on how you want to be coaching clients on this platform. Best of luck to all the recent graduates, and looking forward to seeing you in the Coach.me community.
Rob, that was amazing. I mean, I loved hearing that. I know I've heard parts of it from you in the past, but that was such, gold, hard-won wisdom from having done this for a long time. I so appreciate you coming and sharing that with us. And of course, we will share it more broadly with the whole community, even for the people who aren't here with us today. So, Rob, much appreciated, and thank you for being here.